for the embattled former Signals Bureau Director Samuel Atta saying the Attorney General's prosecution of his client cancels his earlier resolve to prosecute only after gathering substantive amount of evidence. Kwabena Adu-Boahen was earlier remanded by the Accra High Court for 7 working days after prosecution told the court he has the potential to interfere with investigation. Lord Edwasari is our legal affairs correspondent. He was in court earlier today. He's joined me in the studio. Lord, what more do we know about this and the developments earlier today?
Right, so Alfred, do you recall that yesterday the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akyea, he held a quite lengthy presser, giving us all the details regarding the former Signals Bureau Director and his wife, and then the third person, Mildred Donko, all the charges leveled against them and why they were doing so. And the day before, they were in court, and Alfred, you recall that the presiding judge in the matter, Justice Eugene Nyante Nyadu, he said he wanted to have an in-chambers meeting with the defense lawyers and then the prosecution, because the Attorney General did not want the former Signals Bureau Director out there, because he indicated that from the investigations they have picked that Kwabena Adu-Boahen is attempting to interfere with their investigations and also their witnesses. And so in court today, they met in chambers of the judge, but the Attorney General himself was absent. He was represented by Dr. Sremsai, the Deputy Attorney General, and then Samuel Atta, the lawyer for Kwabena Adu-Boahen, and then his wife and Mildred Donko. They were in the meeting for a little over an hour. He came out, and then the judge announced that he was going to remand Kwabena Adu-Boahen. Now, the prosecution wanted him to be remanded for 2 weeks, 14 working days, indicating rehashing their stance earlier that he has a potential to, as it were, interfere with their investigations. They also indicated that even before he was accosted earlier by Iyoko, it was quite cumbersome to get him, and so they indicated that it's flight risk, and so if he's not remanded for 2 weeks, there's going to be an issue. But Samuel Atta for Kwabena Adu-Boahen indicated that the Attorney General arrested him on March 20th, and then he was in their custody before he came to apply for the bail, and somewhere in April. And so they had all the ample time, and so he was bringing the court to, as it were, give them 7 days. He didn't even say 7 working days, he wanted 7 days. So tentatively, Kwabena Adu-Boahen, we wanted him to be in custody for 5 days, and then he can be released over the weekend to his family. But after hearing the arguments, the presiding judge ruled that he be remanded, that's Kwabena Adu-Boahen, he be remanded into the custody for 7 working days. I mean, at some point, Samuel Atta joked that it was on a lighter note that, I mean, we are in a government where they are touting 24 hours, so it cannot be the case that you need all 7 days. You can work over the weekend as well. But the judge maintained that they needed all 7 days because, as it were, they needed quite an amount of work to be done regarding the investigations. So he ordered the prosecution to file all the witness statements because, Alfred, the prosecution had indicated that they had certain special witnesses that they needed to bring on board and take their statement, for which reason they wanted Kwabena Adu-Boahen to be remanded. They were worried that he may interfere with their witnesses. And so he's been remanded, but get this, it's for 7 working days.
7 working days.
The custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. Not prison, not police, EOCO custody for 7 days. Now, we spoke to Samuel Atta on how everything had panned out since they've been in court, and he described it as a storm in a teacup and said that, look, and Alfred, if you recall, when there was a lot of bashing on the Attorney General about the slow pace of prosecution, he did indicate that they want to mass up enough evidence so when they come at you, they're coming hard because they have everything. You'd recall that Dr. Sremsai actually mentioned on Ghana Tonight when he spoke to him some time ago, stressing this. So Samuel Atta indicated that with what is happening now, it appears they do not have enough evidence against them, so it cancels their earlier stance that they are going to only prosecute when they have enough evidence. And so they're back in court on May 13, by which time they're expected to have filed all their witness statements. So we can listen to Samuel Atta, who was speaking to journalists.
He brought it to our attention. Let's see what they bring. You know, I don't want to, eat a meal which is not cooked. Yeah, I thought we should wait. And then what they said in the press, we will never prosecute anybody unless we have all the evidence. You see, this cancels the initial position. We don't have the evidence, but we rush the man to court and come and plead the court for more time. That's a travesty of justice, playing with the liberty of the individual and vain experimentation.
Has your relationship with the Attorney General been damaged because of this case? He did say that since the beginning of this, for a better phrase, trial, you've not been picking his calls, among other things.
Well, our relationship have not diminished, but I'm careful. Let's have a full conversation and somebody says that, oh, I'm trying to, romance the Attorney General. There's a precedent. And now I've been around for some time. I don't want to talk to the Attorney General, although we are very good friends, lest somebody might even go and interpret it. And somebody might even go and leak a tape. Atta is hobnobbing with the Attorney General so that you have some advantages. That is why I'm very quiet about it. I've been around for a long time, and the Attorney General knows it. I'm a senior at the bar. I'm not cheap.
Well, so on that point that Samuel Atta ended this, what we just heard him say, so he's a senior at the bar, he's not cheap, and that he is not going to be communicating on phone with Dr. Dominic Akyea, the Attorney General, and that was after you asked him the question.
Indeed.
What was the basis of the question, essentially?
So, Alfred, when they were last in court, which was on Wednesday, right, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akyea, he was peeved, indicating that he had been trying to reach Samuel Atta, called him several times on phones, but he wasn't picking up his calls. And Samuel Atta was simply not responding to him per what Dr. Akyea was saying. Now, Dr. Akyea was, Samuel Atta was indicating that they had ambushed them to bring them to court. This was on Wednesday. And Dr. Akyea was saying that he's been trying to call him and wasn't picking up. And prior to this case, the Attorney General indicated that they've been very good friends, having very good relationship. They speak all the time. And suddenly, because of this case, it appears their relationship had been strained. And so Dr. Samuel Atta, the lawyer for Kwabena Adu-Boahen, he was putting this in context, saying that it's not that they're still friends. He's just being cautious because there's been a precedent. And Alfred, I'm sure you know what he's talking about when he's referring to the former Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, in the case of Ato Forson, where a recorded tape of his conversation with Jakpa was in the domain. And so Samuel Atta says that he's just being cautious, doesn't want that to be repeated in this case.
I see. And Lord, appreciate you for this. And so this matter is back in court when?
On May 13.
May 13.
The trial continue. Yes.
Thank you. Lord Edwasari is legal affairs correspondent, giving us details of this. And let's say a bit further on this. Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner, joining us on the telephone right now. Counsel, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here. Samuel Atta is making the point, in fact, condemning his client's prosecution. He says it's a travesty of justice because the Accra High Court took the decision to remand Kwabena Adu-Boahen in Iyoko custody for 7 working days, allowing the Attorney General's office to complete witness statements. Does this position have any merit in law?
Well, you see, the thing is that both parties are arguing, okay, what they think is the strength of their cases. So the simple answer is that I'm not in a position to be able to answer it well without seeing all the depositions. And you see that they said they went into chambers. They went into chambers. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you and I have not heard what went on there. So we are all disabled. You can't answer this question well without knowing exactly what went on there. Because in law, the name of the game is evidence. So the evidence or the arguments that they went and did in chambers, we are both not privy to. So in the absence of that, I'm not able to say the judge is wrong in exercising that discretion. And also, the saving grace is that usually when it happens like this, it's an assurance that at the next sitting, the person will be, the accused person will be granted bail. So it's not something, I know 7 days is a long time. Of course, me talking to you, Mr. Ocansey, I'm the one who went to court to say that 48 hours is 48 hours. And so in our Ghanaian society, the Supreme Court has endorsed for us that human liberty is priceless. Priceless. That's Sophia Ekufu JSC writing. She repeated it a number of times, that human liberty is priceless. So we don't play with it. But when you go back, that's table number 4. But when you go back to table number 2, the Supreme Court makes it clear that it's at the discretion of the judge. So the things the judge heard, you and I have not heard. So it's difficult for me to say that the judge has been harsh. It's not like the Galamsey one that we all saw what was happening, that Oliver and Co. We said, no, that one, the courts didn't treat them well. You see, that one, we saw everything, and it was clear to us that Oliver and Co. were rather being very active citizens, and so what they did not merit remands. Yeah, so I'm aware that in times past, yes, the Galamsey cases, we called out everybody who played a role in keeping Oliver Bakavomawo, the other lawyers and the other activists, I'm a governor, etc. Yes, I'm aware, but this one is different. It's different. Galamsey is killing all of us. So if somebody takes an initiative that will quicken, make duty bearers sit up to do something, you don't condemn the person by extending his time in custody. But here, that's not the one we are dealing with here. Here, at least, we are dealing with a case where our 49 million Ghana cedis is in the possession of Adu-Boahen. We've not seen that 49 million Ghana cedis. So, and then I don't know what they spoke about in custody, in chambers, the one the media couldn't report on. So let's hasten slowly. And then, and also when such things are made, usually in law, sometimes you're able to file and go back that the judge should reduce the time based on new evidence and new circumstances. So sometimes don't be surprised that within the 7 days, Akyea can go back to court. But for us as lawyers, it's not, I don't have the requisite information to pass judgment on the decision to remand Adu-Boahen for 7 working days.
I think it's a very important point to make about what was discussed in chambers, which really, essentially in camera, we all were not there. Court correspondents weren't allowed in there. They could only report what they were told outside of the courtroom, outside of that meeting they had in chambers. And that's why I base a question on what Atta said to the journalists afterwards. He is of the view that decision by the judge is a travesty of justice. That's what he said to the media, essentially playing with the liberty of an individual, that's his client, because he doesn't want to eat a meal which is not cooked. And so he thought that really there should be, he would rather wait. And then what the Attorney General said in the press, that they would never prosecute anybody unless they have all the evidence. This cancels that initial position, and that they don't have evidence, but they are rushing the man to court, and they come and plead with the court for more time. That's the position that he espoused to the media earlier today after the in-chambers meeting. Counsel.
Yes, but you see that so far he's not telling us exactly what went on there in chambers. Has he?
No, he did not.
So that's the thing. So we have to be very smart. Yeah, we also have to be savvy that we don't jump onto a one-sided narration. In any event, that narration is not even about what happened in the chambers. So we all need to know what happened in the chambers before we can pass judgment. But as concerned citizens, we all are very concerned about the whereabouts of our 49 million Ghana. 49 million Ghana. I think at a point, I hope that's $7 million. That was equivalent to 49 million at the time, right?
Yes, at that prevailing in rate.
Yes.
But,
okay.
But yes, but there's more. There are other amounts associated with this particular entire scandal that the Attorney General has detailed. So it's not just the 49 million. Excellent.
So more, because a simple thing. Listen, there are certain things you don't even need a lawyer. Assuming this 49 million Ghana cedis that Akyea says Adu-Boahen pocketed, okay? Assuming it was false, it's not just 9 million that he transferred to the the defense people, that to buy the cyber defense system. Assuming it's not 9 million, if you pay them all the 49, and within this short period, you would have written to the people, and then you bring us evidence that, hey, Akyea made a mistake. Look, all of the 49 million went. We've not heard that. And we are all very concerned about that 49 million Ghana cedis. And we are not passing judgment, but we are concerned that so far it's been shown that we've lost 49 million. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. So if they want our sympathies, at least we should have heard that, oh, this case, no, we transferred all the money to the Israeli company. So far, we haven't heard that. That one, when you are clean, you can't incriminate yourself. No. If they say you took 49 million, you didn't take 49, you transferred all to the company. It's as simple as showing the evidence. You don't need a lawyer to defend that. Oh, here is a receipt. So we haven't heard about 49 million. And so if we see that the Attorney General is gone in there to ask for time, okay, to do something about that, naturally, our empathy will be with the Attorney General because he's trying to recover money back to the public chest. So the one who doesn't want that money to return has to be doing something, telling us something. So far, you remember how the Attorney General has shown how monies were used to buy Mayfair buildings, okay, so many houses, it's like an estate by itself, etc. The simple question we are asking is, yes, we know about self-incrimination in law. He shouldn't say anything that will incriminate him. But the truth doesn't incriminate. The self-incrimination happens when you are involved, you've done something and it looks like, hey, what you've done is wrong. So you are not sure, then keep quiet. But if you transferred, if Adu-Boahen transferred all the money to the Israeli company, what is so difficult about saying that? Why would you even spend money on lawyers when you have receipts, when you have evidence that all the money went? I mean, I don't get it. Who would want to spend? And lawyers don't come cheap. And Atta, you heard him in the video saying that he's not cheap. He doesn't come cheap. Atta is of a high pedigree, so fees are expensive. So if you transferred all the money, wouldn't you just go to your home or wherever, contact the company or even the whole archives when you left the office? You can show that, no, it's in this drawer. Ask the accountant. And it's not even bank transfer. The banks are still in business. Multiple sources. And can you just show us receipt? Here is the receipt. All of your money went to the Israeli company. So if you haven't done that, then, and besides, the main reasons the judge remanded him were reasons that were advanced in chambers that we haven't heard, then it will be very difficult to come on Atta's side, notwithstanding that Martin Kpebu, I'm the one who championed Kpebu all the Kpebu cases. I mean, number 1, number 2, and number 4, they are all different aspects of bail. So when it comes to bail, it tells you that I sleep, eat, and drink bail. I mean, I don't play with personal liberty. But it doesn't mean that any case at all, then every case, admitting to bail. No, it's on a case-by-case basis. The facts of each case will determine what I see. So that's the point.
And I appreciate your thoughts on this, quite clearly stated. I thank you so much, Lawyer Martin Kpebu, for your thoughts on this.
You're welcome.
And certainly we'll have to have a lot more conversation on this tomorrow on key points as well. So
absolutely.
do appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
All right.
Martin Kpebu is private legal practitioner joining us here on Hot Edition. But this is what the